Nina, thank you so much for being here with us on Social Impact Power Chats.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Oh my God, we're thrilled. And there's so much to cover because you have done so much. So I want to jump in. The first question is, how did you get into this big, beautiful world of social impact?
Yeah, so I think I had a pretty unusual trajectory. I started my own nonprofit when I was 16, a breast cancer charity in honor of my late mother. I then went to university, kind of forgot a little bit about the nonprofit world, re-entered after university, and then decided I wanted to transition into for-profit. And it's quite a difficult jump, nonprofit to for-profit. So I started by looking for companies that were certified B Corps. I found Lemonade, and that was basically the start of it all. I ended up leading social impact for an insurtech, not somewhere I ever thought I would be, but I'm very, very happy that it worked out like that.
Amazing. So, let's pause. Tell us a little bit about your role at Lemonade. I know it's probably evolved so much because how many years have you been there now?
5 years.
5 years. So maybe bring us up to the present, right?
Of
What are
course.
you doing today? What work are you leading today that we all watch on LinkedIn and say, like, brava?
Yeah, I'm a big LinkedIn poster. So, in terms of my social impact strategy, I think it's really evolved as the company's grown. Initially, it was very focused around our Give Back program, which is our nonprofit partnerships and monetary donations. But as the company grew, so as the company grew, so did our impact. So we needed to start exploring climate regulation, sustainability, especially as a public company. You come up, you face a lot of increasing scrutiny and regulation. We look a lot more at internal volunteering as well, how we engage our employees in social impact, and also just thinking about social impact more broadly than just, giving money, but also taking stands. So we were the first US insurer to not to forswear divesting in fossil fuels. So we said we wouldn't insure or invest in fossil fuels. And I think, we keep taking stands like that, and that just really helps us grow as a company and as an impactful brand.
Amazing. Well, I think you all are an incredible example of what we call philanthropy plus. There's money, and as you just described, and time and product and voice and. So I'd love for you to break that down, maybe one of those things or the whole thing. For somebody who's listening who says, I love what Lemonade's doing, I love what Nina and her team are leading. What are some tips or tricks or secret sauce that you could share that you would recommend folks think about if they're trying to do this at home?
Yeah, my number one tip that I always give is be authentic and consider all your stakeholders when you're thinking about social impact. I think too often we think of social impact as an afterthought. So the company grows and then you decide to start doing donations. And by that point, it's almost accidental. Whereas at Lemonade, social impact was part of the product from the very beginning. So you always had the customer in mind, you always had the brand in mind. And I think that helps you stay very authentic to who you are and keeps your impact authentic. And authenticity is what the customer is really looking for because, there's so many companies nowadays that are claiming to do good and actually falling short. And your customer needs to know that they can trust you. So, yeah, I always say try and be as authentic as possible when it comes to social impact.
Amazing. And maybe, just to tease out, like, how would you think about that process, that authenticity process? Do you have any recommendations? Somebody's like, okay, great, I want to be authentic. Like, how do you bring that back to, base camp and really dive in to think that through? Because, I think everybody wants to be authentic. And the truth is, so many brands fall short. So where do you think the like push to that authenticity comes?
I think an amazing example is actually the nonprofit partners that we work with because we get so many requests of organizations that want to partner with us. But each time I see a request, I have to think if it is actually, like we said, authentic to who we are as a brand. Does it speak to our customer or is it just a popular cause? Climate causes seem to be the most popular. We see them all the time in the news, but they're actually severely underfunded. Only 3% of US giving goes to climate causes. So, that was something that we really prioritized. And if we weren't thinking deeply about our customer and we know they care about the climate, I'm not sure that we would have been able to make that same connection. So, yeah, I think you really just need to make sure that when you're working with a nonprofit or when you are, evaluating your social impact, you're really trying to be true to what matters to you as a company at its core.
Amazing. And, I often say, like, when we do everything, we do nothing, right? Like that
Right.
authenticity and that sort of focus really allows you to have measurable impact,
Yeah.
which, is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Um, Amazing. Well, this has been probably the most efficient, power-packed social impact power chat we have ever had, Nina. I'm not surprised. So thank you. And we're already on our last question, which is bananas. So if you could fill me in on, where you see this work headed, right? Like what we're really trying to think about is like where can we skate where the puck is going in social impact? Where do you see that work happening and sort of like what are you getting ready to do next?
I think what I really see happening for social impact is it becoming increasingly accessible. I think the social impact sector is notoriously hard to break into, especially if you're making that jump from non-profit to for-profit. And we actually need to make that easier for people because we need those non-profit voices in the for-profit sector and really create the bridge between those two worlds. So yeah, I really want to try and make social impact more diverse, more open, and for people to start thinking about social impact at every company they work in. You wouldn't necessarily think that an insurance company would be prioritizing social impact. And so to think outside the box and think about impact as something that can exist in every form of a company is really what I see the future of social impact as being.
Amazing. Well, let it be so. I believe that the world will be better off if that everything that you just shared is true. And so excited to watch what you continue to do and build. I think it's a great standard for anybody who's interested in this work to think through. And we'll make sure to put some links when we share this episode, so people can look at your content and your reporting and get some amazing inspiration.
Thank you so much. And thank you. This was a great chat. I loved it.
Such a
It's
great
very
chat.
efficient.